Peace and love, family. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Ma'at. Tonight, family, I'm going to be talking about the amigos, right? Well, I keep saying amigos. It's Migos, right? My students always laugh at me when I say the amigos. They're like, Doc, it's Migos. So Migos. Okay, so the Migos rapper Takeoff. I think I said take over in the title. No disrespect, but Takeoff was he was murdered, man, last night. And there's so many rumors swirling around. I don't even want to say last night. I think it was like the wee hours of the morning. He was murdered, and I woke up this morning like 7:30, 8 a.m. and heard what happened. TMZ, they're ambulance chasers. So every time something happens, TMZ is right there. So they were the first people to report that he died. And he was at a bowling alley. It was a private party. They said they were on the balcony shooting dice after the party. An altercation occurred and he was shot. Some people saying that it was a stray bullet. It was meant for Quavo. He was, had words with somebody else. And, so all these rumors are going around. You know how when someone dies, the rumor mill starts, and then you find out that it ain't even what they're saying online. And so anyway, family, we're going to be talking about that tonight. I'm waiting for Baba Amin to come in and talk about deaf culture. I had a conversation with my students today, my freshman students, and I was talking about the promotion of deaf culture and how we will promote and support deaf culture until deaf culture lands on our doorstep. We'll sit there and we stream the stuff. We stream, the stuff. And when you stream stuff, you support it. You may say you don't support deaf culture, but if you are clicking on the video and in that video, that person is talking about drug dealing and robbing and raping and stealing, you support it, right? And we always support these things until they show up. Hold on, let me bring Baba. And peace, Baba. How you doing, King?
Peace. I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. So good to see you. Had the opportunity to hug you and
That's
meet
right.
face to face at the All Black National Convention.
Hey, just got out of recovery yesterday. Just got out of recovery.
From the weekend. And so we're going to talk about that tonight, family. We're going to be talking about the All Black National Convention. Baba, I was just telling the audience, just describing to them the conversation that I had with my students today about, just the promotion and the support, of deaf culture. And I was saying prior to you coming on is that we tend to support the deaf culture until it lands on our doorstep. So by support, I mean, we click on we'll stream the music. I know, I've done it. I had some ratchet stuff, I can talk about, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So,
I got the
like, come on, and so, so we will support that type of stuff, that deaf culture, that energy. And then when that energy hits us, then we're like, oh, I don't want. Now when we become victims of the very same culture that we promote, then it becomes, an issue. So family, tonight we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, just that deaf culture. When I think about that, Bob, I'm thinking about all of these young brothers, who are dying in the street, sisters and children who are dying as a result of being caught up in crossfires and different situations. I'm thinking about the rappers, Young Dolph. I think he died, last year? Was about a year ago, Nipsey. So we're losing not only the rappers. I know the rappers get the attention in the media, but it's brothers who are dying around the way, every day. I feel like what was the guy say? People die every day. B, that was in Paid in Full. People die, but this is every day, literally, Baba. And so, like I told my students today, we tend to support that culture until it lands in our doorstep. But it was something you said that was very interesting when I called you on the telephone. You said, that deaf culture is American culture. So go ahead, Bobby, and break that down when you talked about how the deaf culture is American culture and how we by default practice it. But go ahead, Bobby.
I say, yes. America loves our gangsters. America was founded on violence. It was founded on war. It was founded on might makes right. And the attitudes you see in our community is a direct reflection of that. If somebody's not going to give it to you, you go take it. You organize, you get together and you go take it, and you take it by any means. I grew up watching movies about Al Capone, and I didn't come away from the movie thinking, oh my God, clutch my pearls, Al Capone. I came away from the movie wanting to be Frank Nitti. I came away from that. I didn't watch Scarface. You didn't watch Scarface and root for the police.
No.
You watched the movie Scarface and you rooted for Scarface, this immigrant that came from nothing, that did what he had to do to survive and build an empire. You know what I'm saying? You admire his machismo, and that sort of thing, right? And so we call ourselves African Americans, but that's the American part. The American part is capitalism. The American part is sex and aggression. That's the American part, And so what happens with us though is our reflection, our practice of American culture is sensationalized, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's commercialized, then it's politicized, and then it's weaponized against us. Whereas Italians, I mean, The Godfather won an Oscar. But if I made a movie with as much black on black violence in it that The Godfather had white on white violence in it, black folks would be protesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
just too much black on black. I'm tired of this. That's too much stuff. But Scorsese got an Academy Award for The Godfather. But that was one big display of white on white violence and white on white crime. But what did they infuse it with? They infused it with other aspects of Italian culture that was attractive. They infused it with creeds and moral compasses. We don't harm women and children. And so they give you the myth of the moral gangster. They still went to church. They stayed with their wives, but they still lied. They still killed each other. It was very violent, right? So with their violence came a different definition of who they are at their core. But with our violence, the issue is the definition that we're coming into the narrative with at our core. We already don't respect ourselves coming into the situation. So
come
when
on,
the
Baba,
situation blows up, then that's that disrespect that was already there that comes to the surface. So we start saying things like black men are out here killing each other. But black men are out here building websites too. Black men are out here starting businesses too. But we paint that broad brush and we treat it like it's a problem that's endemic to black people when the only thing that we're doing is reflecting American culture,
which we need to rid ourselves from. American culture is sick. American culture is sick.
Confrontation we don't want to have.
It's sick. It's
easier to say black on black crime. It's easier to because we're already dealing with toxic shame. So It's easier to confront each other and cancel ourselves than it is to confront any other aspect of American society.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. And I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. We need to detach, from this culture. And I want to share with the family. Let me go here. I want to share something with the family. Nana Marimba Annie talked about what culture is.
Right.
And you remember when she talked about culture being our immune system. And so let me play this video really quickly so we can understand the importance of culture. And the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. In that book, he said black people in America empowering culture. Hold on. Let me play this. I want to play what the great warrior said. Yeah, hold on. Nana Marimba and Nee. Hold on. Let's share my screen with you all. And make sure I share my sound because Baba, people start yelling at me in the chat. Doc, where you sound? Can't hear anything. Let's listen to what she said about culture.
For us, it brings.
Hold on, let me take it back.
What does it do for us? It brings us from chaos into order. It brings order to chaos. That's what culture does. Culture is powerful. European understands that. It binds us to each other. It gives us identity. It gives us a reason for surviving. And then it tells us who we should live for and who we should die for if we have to. Culture is an energy source for thriving. And it gives us a sense of security. It also puts us into a system of accountability. We are accountable to our ancestors. Now, with you're looking at all of that and it's a template for living, then think about it. And it is a petri dish. So that African culture becomes a petri dish. It produces Africans. It cultivates Africans. And no other culture can make that statement. You hear me? No other culture can produce and cultivate Africans. Only African culture can do that. If we look at culture like that and see it as a means by which a people protect themselves, then we could understand culture as the immune system of a people. Think of people as an organism, and culture is that immune system, right? Okay. Now, what does the immune system do? The immune system, you have the T cells, you've got the lymphocytes, which become the warriors, right? Their job is to recognize the antigen. An antigen is a foreign body which threatens the health of the whole. That's when you get that seek and destroy. All right?
That's right.
Because their job is to neutralize or eliminate in any way that disease, that poison, those antigens, those things that work against the health of the whole. Okay? Now, we look at culture as that. Genetic memory, if you read the medical journals, is connected to the immune system. They all talk about that. And I'm fascinated with genetic memory. So that there are these memory cells which carry the knowledge and information about how to defeat the disease. And I'm saying culture is all of that. Right? Okay, so what happens? You got the Ma'afa. Everybody know what the Ma'afa is?
Yeah.
The Ma'afa is a great disaster. That's the kidnapping of us and all of that. The disconnecting us from that cultural womb. Okay? The Ma'afa carries the virus. The virus is the Urugu virus.
Woo! You heard that, Baba?
This is very culture specific.
Oh, Baba, this is a 5-minute clip. We're only at the 3-minute and 25-minute mark. She dropped so many jewels, Baba, just in 3
That's
minutes.
Right.
She said culture gives us our identity, our purpose, and our direction. Then she said culture is our immune system. It protects us. And right now, we don't have a culture. We're not practicing a culture, Baba, that is protecting us. Right now, this culture that we are practicing is destroying us. It's destroying us individually. It's destroying our families, Baba. It's destroying our children. Our children are sucked into this culture. And I'm not just saying our children and speaking, not disconnected, Baba. I'm talking about, I see it in my own family, how this culture is weighing on our families, is weighing on us, Baba.
Right.
And I told my students, Baba, that every day we gotta fight. Every day you have to fight. You get what I'm saying, Baba? Because we're up against a behemoth. You get what I'm saying? We're up against a beast that is constantly after our minds, after our souls. So I said, every day you gotta fight. And so anyway, Baba, did you want to add to what you heard? Anything you want to add on to?
Absolutely. Every day we get up at the Uhuru Academy, we're at war. And it's a cultural war.
That's a fact.
And America's built on war. And whether you want to participate or not, not all war involves bloodshed. Matter of fact, some of the most effective styles of war aren't bloody at all. Politics is just war without bloodshed. Capitalism, the way we do business in this country, is war without bloodshed. You have to raise warriors if you're going to be in this nation, in this country. But the key is, who are you defending? What are you protecting? And when Mama Marimba said we're infected with the Urugu virus,
come on,
the Urugu virus has us behaving in a way like Dr. Amos Wilson said, to where we are destroying ourselves in service of white domination.
Say that one more time, Baba. I didn't hear you. The mic started. I didn't hear you. Say that again, Baba.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Baba.
You
Say it,
know,
Baba.
I was saying we're behaving in a way like what Dr. Amos Wilson says when he talked about black on black violence, in a way to where we are destroying ourselves in service of white domination.
Facts.
So everything we do is in service of white domination. You know what I'm saying? Even beyond the just killing each other physically, divesting in our own communities, we do that in service of white domination. Inclusion is in service of white domination. We're saying white society, accept me. I'm going to bring my skills, my talents, and my tax dollars directly to you, in service to you. When we look at hip hop, right? In hip hop, hey, don't push anything that's going to empower the black community. Push
Come on.
Gucci, push consumerism, push all of that. And I'm going to make a few of y'all rich to keep the masses consumers in service of white domination. Ye slipped up because he wants to do business in a way that does not serve white domination. And they're at war. That's why they didn't even blink and they didn't even roll over. When, you know what I'm saying? When they decided to say, you know what, just label him crazy, label him nuts. Let's destroy his legacy today. Like right now. Don't even think twice about it. These are war moves. We are capable of doing that to one another, but because we haven't been educated to do it to anyone else. So I used to go through the hood, and y'all, I've been working with my people directly for over 30 years. And I used to walk in the hood, and I used to go up to the corner store and ask the brother, the OGs and all of them, how come y'all sell dope in the parking lot of the store, but don't want to take over the store?
Come on. Come on.
How he get to have a store? How that dude that ain't from here, he don't even hardly speak English, how he gets safe passage? How do you have empathy for him, but no empathy for me if I put a certain color on? What kind of training is that? He finna make $500,000 this year with this corner store. He gonna make more than you in the parking lot of the corner store. Matter of fact, you're paying him to be in the parking lot. Why you not at war with him? You don't want the store.
Facts.
If you don't go to, Amos Wilson said the reason why black men kill black men because we ain't been trained to kill white ones. We haven't been educated to go after nobody else. We haven't been educated to engage in war without bloodshed with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take over this industry. We don't even in education. I'm a gangster. Okay. By street definition, I'm an education gangster because I don't care about their standards. I'm not asking for any permission. I see what my community needs. And as a man and as an educator, I'm going to provide it. And I'm not worried about being accepted by anybody else.
Teach, Baba.
But I have an outlet for that attitude as a warrior. This is my outlet for it. What happens when you don't have a constructive outlet for it? When you haven't been trained to have a constructive outlet for it? It comes out in other ways. Cause pressure bust pipes. So now I'm shooting dice, and it's not just about making money, Dr. Mahai. When I shoot dice, it's also about me flaunting that I can control the energy around me, that I'm blessed. Watch this. I know I'm going to win. I'm going to bust it. I'm busting you tonight. I got you. I'm breaking you tonight. It's a totally different thing. It's an ego thing.
That's That's all it is. That's what it is.
So when you have an unbalanced motive, you get unbalanced results.
Come on.
So now I'm extra mad when I lose. Now I'm extra tough. I gotta prove that I ain't scared. What you mean? What you say? What? I'm gonna stand on mines, but I'm standing on mines at the dice game because I ain't been trained to stand on mines in the classroom. I ain't been trained to stand on mines in industry.
Right.
I ain't been trained to stand on mines nowhere. Everywhere else I go as a black man, I gotta sit down on mines so I can get my paycheck. Some of us just can't do that. So culture being our immune system. When you're raised to compromise your culture so you can be accepted, you're weakening your immune system.
Say that one more time, Bob. I didn't hear you. Say that one more time.
When you're being raised to compromise your culture, in order to be accepted, you're compromising your immune
system. Ashe.
Baby girl turned 6. It's time to straighten her hair. Not lock it. In my neighborhood, that's compromising culture.
Come on. Give me some more examples, Baba. Come on.
Don't
Give me
name
some
that
more.
baby Quisha. She ain't gonna get no job.
Mhm.
Don't name that boy Devontae. Now we compromising culture. Now Devontae becomes a ghetto name instead of a new African name. Why is it ghetto? Because we created it?
Yes, yep. That's what it is. It's ghetto because we created it, Baba.
Because we created it. It's not linguistic genius. They be beautiful names. Rishane. That flows. But it becomes a ghetto name. Why? Because of who created it. Because your culture has been redefined. We have a beautiful culture. We have a multi-billion-dollar culture. Everyone eats off of our culture. Everyone eats off of our culture.
Facts.
Look at sports. We have our own sports culture. And the only reason they integrated sports because they saw that sports culture that we created would make more money for them. It was empowering us. Negro League Baseball was a multi-million-dollar enterprise. They integrated because they wanted that black sports culture inside of their institution, but they didn't want black ownership to come with it. When I was a child, every black professional football player came from an HBCU. Them white boys wasn't juking and spinning. Look at basketball. They wasn't finger rolling and dunking. That's our culture. That's what we contributed to these these activities.
Facts.
Now they co-op. They come get Dante, the running back, and send him to the University of Alabama to help the University of Alabama make $1 billion so they can turn out more racist senators to pass policies that's going to incarcerate Dante's friends. By compromising our culture, we compromise our immune system because now we can't protect our community from the University of Alabama graduates that are coming out to politically and economically exploit it. Because we gave them Dante.
Baba, let me play this minute and a half. Hold on. Because she dropped so much. You just dropped so much right after her. But she dropped so much. Let me play this minute and a half.
Yes.
This is all about us. I ain't talking about anybody else right now. I'm talking about us. When we use the term ma'afa, we're talking about an African experience, something that was done to us. We're not comparing it with anybody else's. If we did compare it with anybody else's, we would understand that it is the worst crime against humanity ever committed by one race of people. So it carries this virus. Now, while the ma'afa is carrying the virus, the process of the ma'afa is Europeans committing cultural genocide against African people. Yes. What is genocide? The killing of the genes. So they have always worked to erase our cultural memory. Why? You see, you erase the cultural memory. What is that going to do? It's going to destroy and break down the immune system. Is it not? Okay. So we become vulnerable. What is the nature of a virus? The virus really has no life of its own.
Woo!
Right? Did you know that? A virus needs a host.
Right. That's right.
And cannot be without being attached to that host. And in the ma'afa.
Hold up, Baba. Did you just talk about that? Did you just say that when you said American culture or white folks or the Yoruba? You said they thrive off of our culture. You get what I'm saying? They suck us in. Did you hear what she said? I mean, because everything you said was beautifully aligned with what Nana Marimba and she said, yeah, just like a virus can't live by itself. It needs to attach itself to, it needs a host. And so that virus, we talking about the Yoruba, has attached itself to us. That's right. And it's infecting us and spreading through us, and it's killing us, Baba. But hold on, because we almost finished. I think it's what? 56 seconds. Here we go.
We become hosts for the Yoruba. And that's what that's about. Now, that's the case. It doesn't matter whether the European is here or not. It doesn't matter whether they sit in this audience or not. Because we will behave like them. If we carry the virus, it affects our behavior. And so what they have done is to create a situation in which we begin to destroy ourselves. That results in a condition of cultural AIDS. Cultural AIDS.
Oh my gosh, Baba.
Cultural AIDS.
Baba, she killed that.
She did.
She killed that. She killed that, Baba. She killed that. And she was 100%. She was on point. And I know that Dr. Wade Noble, shout out to Baba, Okunini Wade Nobles. He has a book on the island of means where he talks about, the mimetic infection. He breaks that whole thing down in Island of Means. And so I plan on reading that book actually with my book club. But Baba, she says so much, and that's why I said the culture is so important. And I don't think that people understand how important culture is. And so that's why I wanted to play that clip so that people could understand, the ramifications of promoting, teaching, enforcing, right, and supporting a deaf culture or a disempowering culture. So anyway, Baba, I do want to share this article really quickly. Right here. I saw this article earlier. Well, no, I think it was another article. But look at this. Migos rapper TakeOff killed age 28, reportedly over a dice game. That Baba, he was a baby. He's a baby. 28 years old, Baba. Come on. That's, you just getting out of college. You're in grad school. You just kind of spreading your wings a little bit, and I know that him and his uncle Quavo.
Rest in peace, that young brother.
Yes. Quavo just, they actually just dropped the album, him and Quavo. Yeah. And I think they released a video. They released a video, this past Monday. They dropped it, and so anyway, family, it says killed at the age of 28, reportedly over a dice game. TakeOff, Georgia rapper, and 1/3 of the rap group Migos has been shot and killed in Houston on November the 1st. He was 28. Somebody put in the chat that it happened like 2:30 in the morning. It says according to the report from TMZ, police were called to a bowling alley in Houston just after 2:30 a.m. at the reports of a shooting. TakeOff was with his Migos co-member and Uncle Quavo when the altercation reportedly broke out over a dice game. It says TakeOff real name. It's what's that, Baba? Kershnik Khan. What's that? Kershnik Kari Ball.
Kershnik Kari Ball.
Kershnik Kari Ball was pronounced dead at the scene due to a bullet wound. It says to the head or close to the neck. Oh my gosh. And Baba was crazy. They have pictures of this brother's body all over the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's him laying down. You see, they blur out his face, but then you see like a pool. Well, I know in the articles that I've seen
some more graphic stuff out. So
oh my gosh, I don't even want to see that.
The streets got something different.
The street got something different. Oh my gosh. It's the boy's body is all over the internet with the gunshot to his head. Quavo is over his body. They said Quavo was yelling, to tell people get some help. You know what I mean?
Right.
Go get some help, because people people be sitting there spectating and taking pictures. And Quavo was like, man, go get some help. But anyway, it says right here that police also said 2 other people were shot and taken to the hospital. I heard they were taken in private cars. It says despite some reports on social media, it is said that Quavo himself was not shot or injured. And he didn't look like it in the photo. It looked like he was hovering over TakeOver. It didn't look like
different. I'm hearing different things, just from the street level of what happened. But what I want to touch on about that particular situation is first we have to guard against dehumanizing everybody that was there. And first our heart goes out to this young brother's family and everybody that's going to be touched by this. And my heart also goes out to the other young men and women who were there, who are traumatized by this right now. And let's not assume that everybody standing next to Quavo and TakeOff was just a bunch of thug dudes like, yeah, kill. That's not what happens. These men gonna have nightmares. These men are gonna deal with that. They're gonna go home. They have children. They're afraid. all those emotions run through, and so it's easy for us to I know we talk about the culture and we talk about everything that's wrong with us and that sort of thing, but understand, just like this young man, Takeoff was just a quiet dude. He was a quiet guy that liked to rap and have fun. He was not a gangster. He never tried to be one or anything like that. He was a bystander. From what I'm getting, he was a bystander, really, more so in the situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's a true tragedy. It's a true tragedy for all involved. And we have to guard against, as a people, allowing ourselves to be dehumanized when tragedies happen, and not to dehumanize each other and circulating the pictures and things like that.
Yes.
That's a part of that desensitization and the dehumanization of the whole thing, and it's trauma, and it's a trauma response for some people. Some people are there watching, afraid, don't know what to do. I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna spread it, and it's a trauma response. It's a defense mechanism. It's a weird defense mechanism, but it's also a defense mechanism as well. So it's trauma all the way around, when something like this happens. But it does make us talk about it. This is the type of thing that happens a lot. But of course, when it happens to someone famous, it sparks conversation.
It does. And like you said, and remember at the beginning of the discussion, I said, Bobby, this happens, every day, in Baltimore, people getting killed over dice games. But because he's a celebrity, of course, like it makes headlines, when people start talking about it and having conversations.
And that's a good thing that we're having these conversations. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's an opportunity for us to really confront what's going on in our community, the trauma that's being faced in our community that comes with poverty, that comes with racism. You know what I'm saying? And really talk about it, though. And you have some people who are going to have an agenda. They'll take something like this and politicize it and say, you know what, we need to be tougher on guns. We need to be tougher on crime. Right. And now you have mass incarceration. I mean, it happened before.
Absolutely.
I remember the 90s. I remember the 90s. I remember being treated as a young black man who was trying to uplift the community. I remember being put on the gang file, even though I wasn't in the gang. I got put on the gang file because my car was blue. See, I remember those days. I remember watching people get locked up that needed counseling, that needed drug counseling, being sent to the penitentiary because you couldn't tell anybody that the black drug addict wasn't a criminal. I remember watching black women being portrayed as dope fiends in movies and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And how we became desensitized. How I remember when black drug addicts lost their first name and all of them got named crackhead. I remember that. And once that happened, then the prison population shot up. And next thing you know, all these drug addicts, instead of getting treatment, they became slaves in the prison system.
Absolutely. Barbara, let me interject. I wanted to say to Marciana Pender, sister, I agree with you. She said, first of all, TMZ and other persons who posted photos of this young man's bodies are disgusting and should be ashamed. I couldn't agree with you more, Queen. And she also said black people need to come for TMZ like the Jews come for black people when we say stuff. She said we need to eat TMZ's behind up for posting a black murder porn. Come on, sister. She is 100% correct, Baba.
100% correct.
Why we not canceling TMZ? Baba, let me finish my thought. Because I let you go and I just be sitting back. Let me finish my thought. So what I'm saying is this. I noticed that when things are said about us, so for example, Kanye West, when Kanye West said slavery was a choice, no one canceled him. Black folks were mad. Black folks were outraged, right? When he said that, but he didn't lose his sponsorships, right? They kept on doing business with him. And so what black folks should have did was cancel those people who continue to be in bed with him and stop supporting these companies who support him after he made that statement. That's what the Jewish community would have done, right? We got to start really coming together and canceling folks. So now TMZ, they released a picture of this young brother's body all over the internet. And people want to still keep on supporting TMZ. No, it needs to be an outcry. Cancel TMZ. You get what I'm saying? And so I agree with you, Sister Pender, that we need to come together. We need to come for TMZ like the Jews come for black people when we say stuff. We need to eat their butts up, like she said, for posting. I love how she qualified that, like posting black murder porn, because
Wow.
that's what it is. And did you notice this too, Baba? They'll sit there and let videos and clips of that stuff. If you know, it can circulate all on Instagram and all on Twitter. But as soon as Kanye mentioned the Jews and them having control in the industry, they like, we got to cancel him. We got to get rid of his profile. Get him out of here. You get what I'm saying? But yet they will circulate murders of black men, police shootings, all of that stuff gets a pass. None of those pages get shadow banned. But let you get what I'm saying. Let one of us post something to say something. Our pages are being taken down, and so that's why we also, Baba, have to get off of their platforms and start building and supporting our. Shout out to that brother who has fan base. I think that was Isaac Hayes' son. I think Junior or the third, but he actually started a new social media platform called Fanbase. We need to all go over there. You get what I'm saying, Bob, and start going and supporting our own platforms. When I was at the All Black National Convention this weekend, I spoke, family, on the it was a panel. A lot of great discussions were happening this weekend. I mean, they talked about, Baba was telling me they had a conversation yesterday about black manhood, black fatherhood. They talk about the black family. They talked about investing, real estate, the stock market. We talked about media manipulation of the masses. And one thing I asked the panel and even the audience, I said, why don't we have a black hub? Why don't we have a centralized location where you can find all of these B1 or race first folks or Pan-African people and black nationalist people? We have our own server. We have our own hub, Baba, and we direct traffic there as opposed to directing traffic on YouTube. I'm not opposed to getting off of YouTube. You get what I'm saying, Baba? And going right over here to this hub, going right over here to this black hub and driving traffic there. You get what I'm saying? And so I was talking about, absolutely. So I was talking about that, Baba, over the weekend. And so I just kind of want to segue into the All Black National Convention and ask you, Baba, what were your thoughts on it? And shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkin and his team for putting on a wonderful, wonderful convention down at Charlotte, North Carolina. What were your thoughts, Baba?
Beautiful event. Beautiful event, wonderful panels, great workshops. Definitely love the youth presence there. Met quite a few young people who are out here doing business, doing very positive things, rappers like D1, and there were other young people there who sold products, who were into NFTs and blockchain technology, and they had their own safe spaces there too to have workshops, to learn, and that's one of the things that really impressed me about that particular conference. The networking was great. I love people shouting black first. I love that. I love the conversation around economic development. I love the vendors. I mean, the vendors that were there. Shout out to all those small businesses. I wish I had a list of them right now. I start reading them off, but you just had, I met a black inventor there, a brother who left his dentistry practice because he recognized the racket that is Western medicine and invented his own style of bamboo toothbrush, his own style of charcoal toothpaste, invented a bite guard to balance your bite. Like, I met some very dynamic black people there. And for me, when I go to conferences like that, Dr. Maya, it's always about the people for me. Like, I know the names draw people and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's always about the people that I'm going to meet that are out here soldiering on without a following. You know what I'm saying? And so I met some very dynamic. You introduced me to a couple, a husband and wife team. That he's a teacher ready to leave the system, and she works with other youth organizations, and they're ready to build a homeschool, but really build an African-centered school of their own. So it was an honor, and to hang out with Baba Smalls. Oh, that's always player, and so meeting him, Dr. George Frazier and others out there. So great job. Kudos to Dr. Watkins and his organization. A great event. I made some powerful connections. Now it's time to follow up on them and see who's ready to get to work.
Absolutely. And Baba, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I love that he created this space, this B1 space, this Black First space, for us to network. Like, he literally created a space for black people to network, to share their products, to sell their products, for us to circulate the black dollar. I mean, it was a phenomenal experience. And one thing, family, I do want to share with you, it was very organized. I remember a few years back, I went to the the All Black National Convention in Philadelphia, and it was organized then, but it
Mhm.
seems like it's just getting better
I
and,
say.
and better.
Right,
It's just the
right.
different locations. I love how Dr. Boyce Watkins and his team, they select different locations. So they were talking about next year how they may have it in Las Vegas or Houston or
Right,
Atlanta, but wherever
right.
they have it, I'm going to make sure that I'm there. But very, very organized. And I actually met the event planner. It's a sister, a young sister who was who was the event planner for the All Black National Convention. And when I say that, she and her team, Taryn and all of them, they did a wonderful job. Things were extremely organized. They had it at the Sheraton Hotel in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. So the hotel space was beautiful. It was very ideal for a conference. They had different rooms where you had different workshops going on. They had 2 spaces for vendors. You had a restaurant there. The rooms were clean. I'm just getting into some of the logistics right now, Baba, so folks will know. This
Right.
wasn't no shabby, convention. This was really put together.
Oh, it's pretty swanky.
Very well, very well put together.
Right,
I
right.
love the fact that Dr. Boyce Watkins he incorporated a gala. I always say gala, but that's that Baltimore accent. So some people say gala.
Right,
I say gala.
right,
You get what I'm
right.
saying? But anyway, he had a B first gala. As a matter of fact, this was the second annual B1 gala where he gave out awards. And so I have my award right
Go
here,
ahead,
family.
go ahead.
I got to show the family.
Whoop,
So
whoop.
he gave me my award and education award presented to Dr. Ma'at
Much
in
deserved.
recognition of your superior achievement, outstanding commitment and dedication to reclaiming the B1 Nation. We honor you, All Black National Convention 2022. So this was hot. He presented awards to other people. Brother Nori Muhammad received an award. Dr. Frazier, he received the Dr. Claude Anderson Award, which was their biggest award. There was a young sister, I forgot her name, Baba, but she received an
Right,
award. And
right.
so who else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing some folks.
I think
Because it was six or
yeah,
seven people received awards.
Yeah.
And so it was hot. And I think some brother received it, one in media, one in entertainment. D1.
D1.
I think,
That's right.
that brother
D1.
he received an award. And
Mhm.
so it was just a beautiful ceremony. And like Baba said, it was an opportunity to network with so many different people. I saw all kinds of folks. Like you said, Dr.
Right,
Frazier, Professor James Small, Brother Nori, Student Minister Nori Muhammad was there.
right,
I saw Riza Islam, Jay Morrison. There was so many people there.
right.
And like Baba said, a lot of the youth came out, which
Mhm.
was very Baba. I loved it. The youth, this is what I'm
Right.
doing. This is what I'm building. And that's what we need at our conferences and
That's right.
conventions. The youth got to be involved. I remember years ago, I believe it was Nori Muhammad who said a youthless movement is a useless movement. So when we build movements, when we create things, we got to make sure that we have the youth. We got to make sure that the youth are a part of what we are doing, because if they aren't, what you're doing is going to die.
That's right.
Okay. If you don't have young people carrying the baton. And so it was very, very, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to describe. How I felt, Bob. But just, I don't
Mhm.
want to say good. It was better than good, to see young people that, there and that was
Right,
in the
right,
conferences, in the
right.
workshops,
Yeah, yeah.
and doing the work in the community, Baba.
Mhm. You want to build more safe spaces for them, and that's our responsibility. Even when we do RBG Family Weekend, it's about young people. It's about providing them with a safe space to come. It's about the Black family. It's about promoting those that are doing something positive, and that's what I saw at this conference, and that's what I really loved about it. That it was a safe space for young minds to create, and they were being encouraged to be creative. And I love that, and we need to duplicate that. We need to keep that going. So yeah, great job by y'all.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I want to challenge all of the real estate experts there, right? Let's put that plan in place to where one day that B1 conference will be at a B1 hotel
Baba, I gotta be honest. I
on
thought about
B1
that.
lane.
Yes, I thought about that. With matter of fact, when my aunt and I were not my aunt, my mother and I think it was my mother and my aunt. We all were talking at the table, and that's one thing we were saying. We were like, "Dang, I wish all of this was at a Black hotel." My mind actually went back to the brother. What was the brother name who owned the hotel in Tulsa? Family's been trying to fight for reparations. Come on, Baba, because you
I don't
come
know.
on, Baba.
I
Look,
got family in Tulsa too. I got people
Baba.
in
Hold on.
Tulsa.
Let me Google it real quick. Or tell me in the chat, family. What was his name? It started with a J, I believe. I'm getting ready to Google it right now because I don't like when my history Baba's not tight. So let me go in here. I'll say
Right.
hotel. I think his name was JB something. Let me see.
Mhm.
Hotel, black owned hotel in Tulsa.
Right.
Black owned hotel in Tulsa.
You know, and,
Hold
and
on.
while you're doing that, that's not a far-fetched idea. And a lot of times, the only thing that stops us from making that stuff a reality is our own lack of belief in ourselves. Again, our cultural immune system has been compromised. We have Black people who have family land that they're not using, and it just needs to be developed and built upon. And we have the economy. All I kept hearing last weekend was $1.3 trillion in spending power annually. That's what I kept hearing. So you need to redirect those funds. But before you can redirect the fund, you got to redirect the mind. And that's key. So we say Black first. I say Black first grade. I know we need to introduce Black first in the first grade.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And his name was JB Stafford family. JB Stafford. I knew it was JB. Remember I said it's J something. JB Stafford. So can you imagine, Bob, if that never happened, if that Tulsa massacre never happened, he probably have hotels all over the US right now. You get what I'm saying? But I was sitting there thinking like, man, I wish this was at, a Black owned and operated hotel. That would have been beautiful, Bob. But like you said, on Black land.
Well, at one time there were Black owned and operated hotels all over the United States.
Who?
That was the only place you could stay, whether it was a bed and breakfast, whether it might not have been a big,
you're talking about doing segregation.
It might not have been a big Sheraton.
Okay. You're talking
but
about
had
segregation.
Nice Black owned hotels all over the United States at one time. It's been done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been done. It can be done again.
Yeah, I thought when you said it was, I thought you was going to sit and list like, this person had put chains all over, but you're talking about doing the segregation era where we had no choice. Where we had no choice.
Well, no, when that was our choice.
Yeah, that was our.
When that was no. Black folks weren't trying to spend the night with white people. Black people were not. Let
me tell you why I disagree. And this is the first time I've ever disagreed with you. Let me tell you why I disagree. Because as soon as the white folks said that you can come into our hotels, a lot of Black hotels closed. As soon as white people, Baba, hold on. Let me get it off. As soon as white folks said you can come to our beach, don't make me pull up Carr Beach. I can go through the history of Carr Beach that closed down as a result of Black folks saying, I can go to the white man's beach. That white man's ice is colder mentality. We always had it, Baba. It was there. Okay. Trust me, it was there.
Okay, but my counter is this.
Okay, it could be a counter.
My counter is yes. By the time integration happened, you had a Black middle class that was developing, right? That became integrationists look at the white man's ice cream being colder. But at the inception of Black owned institutions, they wasn't sad Black people saying, man, we got to do this ourselves because we can't go to the white house.
That's not that ain't what I'm saying. No.
So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying that the creation of a Black Wall Street was a choice. It wasn't a response to segregation. It was
no.
for Black people. That's what I'm talking about. The essence of why those institutions were created. The narrative was we're building for ourselves because that's what we want to do, not because that's what we're forced to do. It became a negative when like you say, when the Black bourgeoisie initially, began to identify being around white people with success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we started building our institutions. We built, remember I brought out the fact that right in Texas alone, you had over 554 freedom colonies. There were freedom colonies all over. You get what I'm saying? So as soon as we got out of there, we didn't want to be around white folks. So I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
When that Black bourgeoisie developed and began to say, okay, you know what? We can go to Chateau Leroux for dinner now.
And you know what? And not even just the Black bourgeoisie, but not even just that, Baba. It wasn't just them. The ordinary, whatever. Everybody went. Everybody left.
Well, who did we look up to? Who did the working class look up to?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Who are our leaders? who were the ones put in front of us like this is the example of success. You know, look at the transition when our community became a place to escape rather than a place to develop.
Absolutely.
We were taught that by the Black middle class.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I am going to say though is, Bob, this, I'm not letting Black folks off the hook with the fact that we gave up ours to go with them. You know, I still would love to go to a car beach right now. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of our institutions close as a result of well, the white man's ice is colder. So I ain't letting Black folks off the hook.
Absolutely.
With that, I'm sorry, I ain't letting them. The white and we still have these plantation. We still have that mentality. The white man's ice is colder. Let me tell you something. I talked to two students. I talked to two students. Right, two of my students. One walked me to my car last week, and let me tell you what he said to me. He said, "Doc." And shout out to one of my students who's in the building, Jennifer, who's watching. Her name is Jennifer. She's in the chat. And so salute to her. She's one of my current students. And she took me in the past. And so she's in the chat tonight. But let me tell you what this student shared with me. The student told me, he said, Doc, I had a free ride to Morgan State University. He said, but my parents and everybody in my family wanted me to go to UMBC, which was the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. That's a predominantly white school. So Morgan wasn't good enough. Even though he had a free ride, they told him to give up his free ride to go. Hold on, let me finish, Bob. Told him to give up his free ride to go to UMBC, where he had to pay out of pocket. But guess what, Bob? I'm telling you the story because he's now my student. So he went over there with them white folks, got into an environment where he couldn't thrive. He said the classroom sizes were too big. He said they were packed 200 white folks in a whole auditorium with one professor. He said half the time the professor didn't show up. The TA would come in and teach the class. So he didn't have that one-on-one with the professor, right? The one-on-one that a lot of our students need. Couldn't have access to the professor. He flunked. He flunked out of UMBC. And you know where he ended up? At Morgan State University. Happy, but now he had to come back to the university and pay. But you want to know why his parents told him to go to UMBC? Because the white man's ice is colder. Another student, I don't
disagree with that at all.
Another student, Baba, is a female student. She left UMBC because she went over there with them and didn't like the environment, and she ended up coming over to Morgan. Both of them were in a computer science program at UMBC, and they left because their parents and everybody told them the white man's ice is colder. Go on over there with them white folks. Go to that PWI. You're gonna get a better education over there. So I don't let Black folks off the hook with that.
I don't either. Like, that's not my argument. What I don't do though is I don't characterize Black business development as the result of having no choice.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for the Black business owner, that was about survival. That was about raising your family.
Absolutely.
That was about legacy. It wasn't about, well, I have to do it because I can't go work for them. So I have to do it.
But can we be honest, Baba? They did have to do it. Like I want to be honest with in that climate. I'm not saying that they did not, because I didn't.
I'm the business owner. Yeah, you have to do it, but it's normal to want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, no doubt.
It's not a punishment.
But listen to what I'm saying. It is normal to want to do that. It's normal to want to be independent, but I don't want to act like there were other options either. Let's not act like they had a bunch of options at that point
what
either.
I'm saying is, I'm saying is, Dr. Ma'ad, is that's the best option at that point.
Absolutely.
And more recognize it as a best option than looked at as a punishment. I just like I like to characterize the inception, the building of Black businesses as the best choice rather than the only choice, because I think that's part of our attitude towards not going into business.
Yeah. No doubt.
We have this integration attitude where we don't want to go into business. When I started my own business, people looked at me like I was crazy. Man, go get a job. You have an answer. Why would you want to do that? Right?
Same here.
We don't have to. Somebody actually told me this. We don't have to do that anymore. As if not having a business is a sign of freedom. If in having a business is a sign of being back in segregation.
You said, hold up, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you, but I just wanted to say, I wanted to say this. I wanted to show both sides that, yes, I do agree that our people wanted independence. We wanted, we're talking about self-pride, self-reliance. You get what I'm saying? Another self I'm looking for right now. Self-help, self-reliance, and self-pride. I do think that those were the forces. You get what I'm saying? Like you said,
Then you get the
legacy and ownership,
miseducation
and
of the Negro.
absolutely. So I do agree with that, but we also have to understand in that day and time when these things were happening, they didn't have other options. It wasn't like I could go work for, well, I could be a domestic worker. I
Yeah,
could do,
you absolutely could.
I could do
Pullman
sharecropping.
porter.
Yeah, I could do, be a porter or do sharecropping or what else were they doing? They were doing sharecropping,
Yeah,
agricultural and domestic work. So you had a lot of Black women who were cleaning houses. And then, like you said, so, but back then, our options were very, very limited. So I don't want to act like it was like, oh, we had all of these options and we said, no, we're going to go work for
Oh no,
ourselves.
that's not what I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay,
that's not what I'm saying.
okay.
But it wasn't, oh my God, it sucks. We have to work for ourselves. It
No,
wasn't that
it wasn't
either.
that. Yeah,
It
it wasn't
wasn't that. Ooh, I want some freedom so I don't have to work for myself. That was not what it was.
Yeah. It
Matter of
wasn't that.
fact, the Black business owner was purposely erased from the whole civil rights era. We talk about the Montgomery bus boycott. We talk about Dr. King. We talk about the march. We don't talk about the black transportation owners, the Black cab drivers, the Black mom and pop stores where people could meet up and carpool. We don't talk about the role that Black owned businesses played in the fight for freedom.
You know what I wish though? You know what I wish? I'm glad that you brought up the Montgomery bus boycott. You know what I wish, Baba? I wish that Black folks would have said, you know what, the hell with that. We'll buy our own damn buses and we'll support those buses. Not when you give us what we want. We want a seat on the, we want to, as soon as they said, well, you know what, we'll let you sit where you want to sit. Now we're back on the bus, the same bus company. I wish Black folks back then would have said, the hell with the bus. You keep the bus. We'll pull together as a community. We'll buy our own damn bus and we'll support our own transportation system. You get what I'm saying? I wish that kind of was. I wish that was the end goal, not to sit anywhere on a bus that we didn't own and control.
The nuance to that is, you did have communities, and I remember Dr. Claude Anderson talking about it. You did have certain communities, not in Montgomery, but that had independent Black bus companies that actually were successful while segregation was going on. But then, of course, the white man's ice cream is colder. When they integrated the buses, those bus companies went out of business. But then you have certain cities that have city buses where your tax dollars is paying for that transportation company. You know what I'm saying? And so Black people was like, how am I paying the same taxes? But I can't fit anywhere that I want to.
Yeah, that's true too, Baba. That's true too. If
I'm
paying taxes, I better be able to sit where I want to. My money, or our Black folks, but we're in the same situation now. Black folks pay taxes, but our schools are underfunded in Baltimore. We pay the same taxes as them white folks in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. You get what I'm saying? But our schools are underfunded. You get what I'm saying? So
school systems are weird. The only places you can go where schools are underfunded, yet the funds are there. Like if you look at your district budget, it's enough money to provide
absolutely
education to every child in Baltimore. I guarantee you that.
No, absolutely. You're saying the same thing that the oh my goodness, not the Republican, the governor. He was a Republican dude, and he called Baltimore City out. He was like, "Y'all got enough money." He said, "Hell, y'all get paid the most, but the money never trickles down to the schools." They said Baltimore City is very top heavy. So the money never gets to the children. It goes in folks' pockets.
Construction projects, see, I know the game.
We
know the game.
Come on, Baba.
What you mean? We're gonna build a brand new STEM center right there in East Baltimore. They're gonna be building it for 8 years. And in them invoices, this staircase is a premium staircase, a $60 staircase, but that invoice gonna say $6,000. You know how the game go.
Oh yeah,
nobody's going to question it because we're not educated to watch the dollars.
Right, we're not, and we don't.
We're not, again, getting back to what we're talking about with the cultural immune system, talking about the deaf culture, American culture. You know what I'm saying? We're not trained for that confrontation. That's another confrontation we're not trained for. We're not trained for the confrontation with the school district. We're not trained for the confrontation with the police department. But we are trained for a confrontation with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to shout out Q Butters in the building. Q, you know I had to shout you out. You know I shouted you out at the conference, Q. I shouted you out, you know, at the conference. Baba Amin got eyes everywhere, family. We at the conference, right? And so I after my panel discussion on media manipulation of the masses, I get off of there and I call Baba. Baba, where you at? Because he said he was coming through. And Baba said, yeah. I heard y'all up there shouting me out. I said, golly, news travel fast. And so literally, I mentioned African-centered education. And of course, I had to shout out the Uhuru Academy, had to shout out Q Butter and the Ziax Institute, had to shout out Baba Imhotep and his wife, Mama Ife of PLM and the Kamoyo Shu Africana. So I shouted them out. I shouted out Brother Marcus Klein. You know, I shouted out Baba Baruti and Mama Ya Baruti. And so I just, as many people that came to my mind, Baba, you know, I had
you did a great job.
I shouted them out.
You did a great job and you much appreciated. It's just, you know, the humility, you know, but with the boldness at the same time, you know what I'm saying? like a great balance, you know, a great balance. It's an honor. It's an honor to be mentioned. It's an honor to be named when you received your award, your thank you, you know what I'm saying, to the community. You honored our ancestors. You
Absolutely.
Honored, you know what I'm saying? You honored your peers, you know what I'm saying? Your comrades,
Absolutely.
You know, and that was very gracious and powerful and much. I feel like an OG over there, you know.
You are OG. Like y'all are OGs.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm an RB OG. That's why I tell my RB. I ain't an RBG. I'm an RB OG. You know what I'm saying? and, you know, that's why, you know, I'm getting messages. Yo, they shouting you out up here. You know, yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know, let the work speak. Let the work speak.
Let the work speak. Absolutely. Yeah, but Bob, I had to, because that, you know, I tell folks all the time, this work isn't new. This is a continuation. This isn't new. You know, I said, for all of us, I said, I'm not doing nothing new. Talking about African-centered pedagogy and curriculum. People have been talking about this for decades and been opening schools and doing the work. And so I just, you know, I had to say it, you know, tell it how it is, Bob. I said, I stand on their shoulders. You know, and I said I had to dedicate it to, like you said, the ancestors, you know, to all of my comrades. Shouted you out, talked about Professor James Small, and it was, you know, just going down the list. I feel so bad that I didn't get a chance. I didn't mention Baba Imhotep. I felt bad about that. Did I mention Baba Baruti? I think I did mention Baba and Mama Baruti.
Yes.
But I forgot to mention Baba Imhotep, you know, because he's a comrade, really good comrade, and doing the he's in the trenches doing the work. Yes. Yes, and so I said, "Dad, God, blame it on my head and not my heart." Because when I, you know, people recorded it, and so when I listened to the recording, I said, "Damn it, I forgot to say Baba, you know, Baba Imhotep." But I dedicate that award to him as well, and all of the comrades. And like you said, Baba, these people whose names we don't even know, who are out here doing the work, you know. And so again, Baba, my goal is, you know, liberation, Baba, liberation and sovereignty. That's my goal. And so just playing my part. Baba.
Great job. Shout out to you. Conscious ingenuity. You know what I'm saying? Mail Trek. You know, I mean, we're providing the tools. They know it's the excuses. We eliminating all excuses. We're eliminating all excuses, you know, and my prayer is the day that we look at our children and we say, you know what, I love you enough to not allow anyone to miseducate you.
Absolutely.
I love you enough to do whatever it takes to teach you. Right. If we want to get over the Yorugu virus, we have to apply some medicine.
Absolutely.
If we're going to talk about solutions to the death culture, right, then we, like you said earlier, we have to extract ourselves from it.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, and be able to engage and build and own and protect what we build. You know what I'm saying? But but culturally, we need to cleanse.
Yes. That's what you said. Cleanse. Yeah, absolutely.
We need a cultural cleansing.
Come on, Baba, a cultural cleansing. You're right. But let me tell you how that's going to come. We got to separate. We have to separate, Baba. We have to separate from this culture and from these people. We have to separate and cleanse or purge But we have to separate from these people, Bob. I'm telling you, we gotta
Right,
separate.
right. And you know what? You don't have to move away from here to initiate that separation.
Mm-hmm.
Separation can come with institutional control. My mom used
Tyrone,
to tell me, go
Tyrone,
ahead.
Tyrone, get out of here with that. Ain't nobody talking about personal accomplishments, man. I don't even think you understand what you
He ain't
talking out the side.
listening.
Yeah, he not listening.
He not listening. That's
Yeah,
all. He's not listening. That's all. Yeah,
but
bless his heart. I just have so much empathy
Baba,
for the people,
Baba,
man.
but Baba, you know you sound like Baba. You know you sound like the people at the church. You know you sound like the people at the
You know
church.
what I'm
Like,
saying?
oh,
God bless
oh
him.
bless you,
God
bless you,
bless that brother.
oh
He's
bless you.
just not listening. I don't
Oh,
even know how to address it. I can't give him nothing but empathy. You know what I'm saying?
God bless you.
Yeah, yeah. But Tyrone, I will say this, man. Your success is my success, man.
Absolutely,
I wish for you what I wish for myself, man. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So Godspeed to you. Get us free, man.
Yep, or die trying. So
Get us.
anyway, let me get him out of here. Now he trolling. Let me just get you out of
You
here.
say we blowing hot air. Go
I
ahead.
know. Let me get you out of here. You trolling. Let me
Yeah,
get
man.
you
But
out.
Tyrone, give me the address to the real liberation, man. Shoot, criticism is welcome, but examples are preferred. Shit. Just
Come
show me,
on now.
you know what I'm saying? I don't mind some criticism, man, but you got to show me. I'm a visual learner. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Don't tell me, show me. So it's all good.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Tyrone.
I just had to get him out of there. I just don't have time, Bob, but for negativity. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
negativity. And so people went back to Unc and said, Dr. Marabi, man, she be blocking people. Yes, I do. I get you up out of here because
Yeah, they want. Yeah,
I ain't got time for that. You get what
you
I'm
obviously
saying?
don't want to be here. They might feel trapped. You liberated Tyrone. He was trapped in this space of positive energy, and he didn't know how to get out. And you did
Y'all,
a great job of helping him. You'll
yeah,
be his Harriet Tubman. You was his
yeah, I
Harriet
get him.
Tubman.
I get him. I
Yeah,
get him up out. I get him up
yeah,
out.
yeah. You helped him
But
out.
Baba, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna close out. I know we've been on for
Yeah,
about an hour. I'll be back on Thursday with Baba Kaba at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about this FBA rally that's coming up because
right,
we're receiving a lot of criticism. You got some folks, even Professor James Small, mentioned it at the All Black National Convention that people are like, man, you a Pan-Africanist. You going to the FBA rally. But if you really listen to
mhm,
um, Professor James Small, he always talked about how we are Africans in America. He said African
right,
Americans. He always says it. He says, I'm a proud African American. And
right,
he said the African American is no different than the Yoruba man or the Bamaliki or the
right,
Ashanti. He said we're all under the Pan African umbrella. You get what I'm
right,
saying? And so he
right,
said, I'm connected, of course, to the culture, to the roots, to my cultural roots, my ancestral roots. He said, but I understand that I am 400 years removed from that and that I've established something over here. He
yeah,
said, so he told, and I've talked to him in detail, great detail about this. He views the African American as a distinct tribe or ethnicity, no different than Yoruba, no different than Bamaliki, no different than, you get what I'm saying, any of
I
those
see,
African ethnicities. So,
right,
and Professor James Smaller tell the people on the continent, you know more African than I am. You get
I
what I'm saying?
say,
Because a lot of them will look at the African American and say, well, you all on the continent, you all over there, you ain't African. Professor
right,
James Small said, I'm more African. I could argue that I'm more African than you, that I'm an
right,
amalgamation of all of those tribes or ethnicities that were taken
I
during
say,
the Ma'afa. We
I
have
say,
all of them. So when we go take DNA tests, Baba, I got stuff from South Africa, Central Africa, East, West,
right,
because of
right,
all of those different ethnicities that were captured and brought over here, and we mixed together. So
mhm,
anyway, but he always was clear about that. So to
very,
me, when people criticize his participation in the FBA rally, I don't think they've been listening to Professor James Small. I
right,
don't think they really. I think they hear him, Baba, but they're not really listening to him. So anyway, and Professor Kaba's whole thing is this. Professor Kaba said, I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care if you call yourself FBA, ADOS, African American. He said Moor, Hebrew Israelite, Muslim. His position is this: call yourself what you want to call yourself, but operate with a black first mentality. Let's unite together and let's liberate ourselves from under European domination. Call yourself what you want. He's at a point
That's
where
what
he's
we all have if that's the goal we all have in common.
exactly. Let's unite around our common struggle. Right. Let's unite around our common struggle, our common problem, and let's get free. And that's what he said. So he's at a point where he's like, I don't give a damn what you call yourself. ADOS, FBA, African American, Moor, Hebrew Israelite, Muslim, whatever. Let's get this beast off our back. And that's his position. Let's get this beast off our back by any means necessary. So anyway, he and I are going to be addressing, that whole the criticism of FBA and what should we name ourselves and all this. So we're going to be talking about that on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't wait to talk to him.
I'm going to be watching, viewing, sharing, all that.
Hey, appreciate it, Bob. And I appreciate everybody in the chat room who slid through. A Beautiful Mind, Night Rider. I see the Hula Gang. I see my queen right there, Queen Amina. That's my girl. Queen Amina's in the building. Ty 313. Philip Lee. I saw him, of course. Q Butter. Who else did I see in the building today? What's that? La Reza, Africana. Who else we see, Baba? Oh, Vanessa, that queen, she's bad too. She's a bad sister, and I mean bad in a good way. So peace and love to Vanessa.
You got a cold crew that be tuning in. You got a nice village that be tuning in on a regular basis.
I love them too. Marciana Penda, she the queen. Cynthia Rolls, peace to them. Prince 500 Black. I'm trying to think who else. Sankofa. I see Sankofa's in the building. Lakeisha Dunn, peace and love to you, beloved. I'm trying to keep scrolling up to see who I saw. I saw Joel Armstrong in the building earlier. All right. I see La La Love. Trying to think who else, family. I appreciate you all tuning in. Oh, yeah. High Power TV was in the building. Yapo, CJ Young, Brother T. I saw Brother T in the building. Black Ace was in the building. Tiff was in the building. She was moderating. Humani was in the building. Hope I didn't butcher your name, beloved. Christopher, peace and love to you, brother. Christopher was in the building. Gabrielle Cordero was in the building. I think TY313. I think I already said him. But peace and love. Al-Kibulan was in the building. King Kenta was in the building. And so peace and love to everybody who tuned in tonight, and peace and love to people who will be watching this in the archive. So Baba, have a beautiful night. Everyone under the sound of my voice, have a beautiful night. And I will be back live on Thursday. Peace and Black Power.